I'm Rochelle, and this is episode 110 of the Genuine Realtor Show, which airs every Friday. As we enter stage 2 of reopening here in Ontario, the reports from CMHC have much of the media focusing on doom and gloom predictions and an 18% drop in housing values across Canada. Today, I'll get to the nitty-gritty details and share some of my thoughts. Ready? Let's go. The Canadian Mortgage and Housing Corporation recently released a special report on the housing market outlook for Canadians, and it wasn't pretty. They are predicting a 9 to 18% drop in average home prices in Canada, and that has prompted a lot of speculation. After toying with the idea of increasing down payments to 10%, CMHC landed on adjusting their insuring criteria as a way to insulate themselves and Canadians from those predicted drops. Make sure you check out last week's video for a deep dive on those changes. Major banks, however, were not so quick to speculate such large drops and are predicting a more docile decline of 5 to 10%. Both sides see recovery beginning in late 2020 and into 2021, but that rebound will rely heavily on how well our economy can bounce back from COVID closures. Now be aware, I'm a realtor here in the Hamilton, Burlington, and surrounding areas of Ontario, so ultimately I'll be sharing local insights. If you're watching this from another area of our great country, I can help connect you with a local to you realtor who can give tailored insights, so please do feel free to reach out. There are, however, lots of national tidbits, so do keep watching. Now, some people feel that our current spending is fueled by boredom and anxiety, which will lead us to even larger debt loads once mortgage deferrals become due for repayment, and they may be onto something with that. 35% of Canadian mortgages provided by banks are insured, according to CMHC financial statements. And they estimate that across Canada, at least 12% of people deferred their mortgage payments. The shock of a pandemic paired with 3 million job losses since March and dropping commodity values, mainly the collapse of oil prices, it's easy to see why so many are quick to commiserate with the doom and gloom headlines. Even pre-COVID, Canadians are carrying a lot of debt, and our debt to GDP is continuing to climb. For a quick refresher, debt to GDP, short for gross domestic product, is a ratio comparing the country's total household debt to the value of the goods the country produces. The problem with a rising debt to GDP ratio is that it becomes increasingly difficult to pay off the debt and can lead to economic instability. CMHC shares that we are currently sitting around 115% debt to GDP for the second quarter of 2020, and that's predicted to reach 130% by September. Along with this, our debt to disposable income is expected to climb to well over 200% through 2021. We are currently sitting at 176%. Add in the counterintuitive scenario we experienced where activity in the market slowed due to COVID, but house prices kept climbing because of supply and demand. Across Canada, we saw average home prices climb by 1.3% from March into April. From April to May, Hamilton saw a 1.11% increase in average sale price, while Burlington saw an increase of 1.05%. So with all of that said, it's no wonder people are feeling some anxiety and fear around the housing market. But here's the thing, these are all predictions of the worst case scenario and not the probable outcome ahead. What does all of this mean for us here in the greater Hamilton area? Well, we're in a unique market here with a surplus of buyers waiting to break into the market and people now recognizing they can work from home. Geographic limitations are no longer a hindrance. Because of these factors, any drop for us will be minor and short-lived. But if you are positioned well, you could take advantage of this temporary dip. The biggest factors for us are the lack of new builds as the industry essentially stalled while containing the virus, and because our economy isn't as heavily tied to oil commodities as others, we won't feel the brunt of home prices dropping. First-time buyers and investors are the most likely to capitalize, but where some are capitalizing, others will be feeling that pinch. So If you find yourself in the position where deferrals are coming due, debt is mounting, and selling is the best route to keep your finances afloat, you'll want to get your home ready and on market before August to try to catch the peak. If you're looking to buy and sell, timing is everything. If you can sell in the peak and then buy in September or October, you're likely to maximize your buying potential. If you are a first-time buyer or an investor, look to capitalize in the early fall. Remember, if you're looking for something specific and it comes up during the summer, don't hold off in the hopes of a deal down the line. The right home is still the right home regardless, and if you're planning on staying longer than 5 years, a few thousand in savings is truly negligible long term. But here's the thing. All of this, and I mean all of this, is dependent on how well our economy and that of our partners bounces back in the post-COVID environment. Buyer confidence and businesses' ability to adapt to new procedures will all play a role in how far prices dip. If you are looking at a long-term purchase, so say 10 years or longer, this dip will be a blip on your radar. The people who really need to be paying attention and timing appropriately are the people who are unfortunately finding themselves teetering on missing payments and a too big debt load. If you're still here with me, thank you. It's a lot to digest, so please reach out with any questions that you may have, or feel free to watch this a few times and let it all really sink in. If you're thinking about buying or selling in the Hamilton, Burlington, and surrounding areas, I'm always happy to chat about your real estate goals and help in any way I can. Until next week, keep it genuine.